Hello and happy Wrestlemania week. I am Chad, joined by Ryan Sutcliffe, who is dressed like a prat, and Ryan Taylor, who is also dressed like a prat because he's got crap on his top. How are you both?
One and all in Manchester United.
That was a bit offensive. How are you both?
I'll be all right when you give Man United a bit more respect.
Ryan Sutcliffe, how are you?
Don't speak to me, Chad.
Don't
I'm only
speak.
in this chat with Ryan. Hey,
Hey
Ryan.
then. So,
Hiya, pal, how you doing, buddy?
Not so bad. Happy
Good, good.
Wrestlemania week, bud.
Looking suave as always.
you've literally just called
I
him
like
a
your
prat
shirt,
off
mate.
air.
I like your shirt.
What's he on about?
I can't hear it. I'm just getting a weird buzzing
He said
noise in the
never
right
called
ear.
you a prat off air. I don't recall that, do you?
No. Not something you'd say, that.
No.
Anyway, guys, we're doing a bold prediction wrestling Hall of Fame class of 2021. There's going to be a total of 10 participants, 10 inductees going in. We have each chosen 3, and then we've chose one together who we think deserves to go in. There's not really any criteria. It's just people that we think are Hall of Fame worthy or deserve to be in. We're going to go Ryan Sutcliffe to nominate one, then we'll discuss it, then Ryan Taylor, then me, and then we'll go around 2 more times. Ryan Sutcliffe, who have you got up first?
First. Sorry, fellas. Got to read off an iPad here. Ooh, bad lighting.
He's wrote
Bear
a
with me,
speech and
fellas.
everything.
Is he actually?
Well, I ain't gone that far, lads. I ain't gone that far.
Oh yeah, I was looking at it. Look at it. Essays, mate. Essays.
Right, in what world is that speech?
Hang on, I got that workout's got way over 1,000. Jesus Christ.
Shut up, you.
Keep it short, like your knob. Come on, Ryan, read your speech. Who are you nominating?
I need like a speech thing when I read from the card. Yeah, I'm gonna nominate the Nature Boy himself, Richard Flair, Flair of Rick. I've gone for Ric Flair.
Okay.
Just a few of his career highlights, really. He's performed in WCW, the WWF, TNA, the WWE, plus many other promotions. He's a 16-time World Heavyweight Champion, 19-time if you count some other stuff that he did that I did not look into. He's a legend that keeps on coming back. He's a one-of-a-kind heel. If it wasn't for his heel sort of gimmick, the way he portrayed a heel, like stars like Conor McGregor and all that would, is inspiration for him. He set the game. He was the first original heel, one, let's be honest, in wrestling, and he set the trend there. So he's well and true deserver of the Hall of Fame.
You missed out the biggest accomplishment. Charlotte Flair's dad.
That as well.
I don't really think, obviously, like no one's really going to argue with Ric Flair being Hall of Fame worthy. He's already in the WWE one twice. But yeah, he's like his longevity, what he still gives to the show, like Charlotte. But you know, everyone knows. Woo! Everyone knows Ric Flair. Everybody knows him. Ryan Taylor, anything to add?
No, like you say, you can't disagree with that. You know, it's a big icon of wrestling in general, and more than worthy of his spot in our Hall of Fame.
The first inductee into our
very first inductee.
Very first inductee, not even of the class of 2021. Our first inductee ever, Ric Flair. Ryan Taylor, who have you got?
I am going for Stone Austin, Steve Cold. I couldn't say that was good.
I don't think I know what that is, lad.
No, seriously, I'm going Stone Cold Steve Austin. I think it just speaks for itself, really, like what he did during the Attitude Era, all the accomplishments that he's obviously WWF champion. And obviously, his feud with Vince McMahon, which was forever ongoing throughout the Attitude Era. One of the best feuds of all time for me, and it just amazing. And obviously, back then, you won't get away with it now. Like, I don't think Austin will be able to do his character now, which is because they've got in a PG era style. And there's obviously 3-time Rumble winner.
3,
yeah.
The only 3-time.
The only 3-time Rumble winner. So that in itself, to win it once is big, but win it 3 times is some going. Obviously, he's obviously had other feuds with obviously Taker, Kane, The Rock, and so many others. And to be honest, he's my favourite WWE superstar of all time.
He's another one that keeps coming back as well, like keeps giving to the
Yeah,
business.
like obviously he can't really do much because of obviously his neck injuries and stuff,
Yeah.
but he still gives the odd stunner even there.
Yeah, and look at all, like, you know, the stunner still lives on through Kevin Owens.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody knows the what chant. Everybody knows the that's the bottom line. Like,
It's
you know,
so
everyone knows his stuff.
And whenever you hear that glass smash, you know something's going down. Like it's probably the most iconic.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is that the most iconic? I'd say so.
Say so. Yeah, I'd say it's got to be. If it's not first, it's definitely second.
Ryan Sutcliffe,
well,
anything to add?
I don't think there'd have been an Attitude Era without Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I think he carried the company.
Yeah. See, I was gonna say that, but I didn't. I thought that I felt that was unfair on the others.
But no, he's one of the lead runners through it. I think that's fair to say that. Anything else to add? Nope. Stone Cold Steve Austin is joining Ric Flair and joining them. My first nomination. Now, I've got 3, and I didn't really know which one to go for first, but I'm going to go for Sheamus.
Oh.
Because multi-time world champion, United States, multi-time tag team champion, Royal Rumble winner, King of the Ring winner, Money in the Bank winner. He's still there, still getting top feuds, can still go, as we've seen with Drew McIntyre. His longevity is just amazing. Obviously, I would say WrestleMania main event, but it didn't really count because it went on first. But no, I just think Sheamus deserves it for everything he's done in his career.
I completely agree.
Anything?
He's like, he gets overlooked a lot, doesn't he? But when like you actually look into his stuff, he's done some bits. I need to be fair.
He's one of only. Go on.
No, I'll let you go. Sure. I was
going to say he's one of only 3 people to win the King of the Ring, the Royal Rumble, and Money in the Bank.
Is
only
it
3 people have done that.
It's a Grand Slammer, isn't it?
He hasn't won the Intercontinental Championship yet.
I can see him definitely getting that before he retires.
He made a joke on one podcast a while back, and he was like, "Oh, they know that's what I want. That's why he's like sticking around for so long. That's what he wants. He wants to become Grand Slam, but they keep putting him on the opposite brand to it."
Yeah. I think it's a matter of time before he gets it. But like for a big guy as well, he can shit.
Can you believe that John Cena isn't a Grand Slam? Like, he hasn't held the Intercontinental either. Can you believe that?
Yeah, because he's always, the thing with Cena is he's always been in the top picture.
Yeah.
And then if he's not in the top picture, his feud hasn't really been for any belts.
Yeah.
And then with the tag, it's always been shoved into like a tag whilst he's had the top belt as well. And
like
that
with Miz or something, yeah.
Yeah. So, and obviously he had that run with the US title where he was giving young talent an opportunity and putting them on show. But that doesn't really surprise me, to be honest.
But yeah, Sheamus joining his rightful place, in my opinion, in the Hall of Fame. Ryan Sutcliffe, who have you got number 2?
Yeah, so I think I'm going to do this one before the last one for a good reason. I'm going to go with Triple H. Obviously, just like Steve Austin. It speaks for itself. He's been there since 1995. And if he's not in the ring wrestling, he's behind the scenes creating the whole NXT brand. If it wasn't for him, would still be a stupid game show to this day. He's the eye for the future. He's bringing in this new talent. You know, he's responsible for acquiring Andrade and Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn. There was something else I was just going to mention. But yeah, no, he's just always giving back to the company. And it is his life. It's like Vince, a very similar situation to Vince. They won't step down until they're dead, really, essentially. And that's the sort of attitude he's withheld for all these years. And the fact that he's still going, he's not really officially retired, so he still could put on the boots whenever he wanted to, and he can still hang well, to be honest, better than some of us can do. So yeah, I think
obviously 14-time world champion, multi-time Royal Rumble winner, multi-time main event WrestleMania main event.
One of the greatest factions in wrestling as well, DX.
Yeah.
That's what I remember the most. Like, obviously, when I was growing up, that DX was like prime with me when I was growing up. So I always loved Triple H. Just on my, that's one thing that I always remember. I loved them two together.
That's cool. I don't really have anything else to add. So, do you two, or is that it for Triple H?
No, I think more than where they're one of the biggest names in wrestling. Like, a lot of people. I think even a lot of people outside don't really know wrestling. Don't know Triple H. It's definitely. I don't like. I mean, obviously, not really that successful as a film star, so it's a little big there.
Ryan Taylor.
Even up until like when all this was first going on last March, and it was actually like him that had warned Vince that this pandemic could cause all these live event stuff, and Vince had ignored the warning and kept going whatever. So when they were in the Performance Center, the very first show of the Performance Center, he was on the headset with Michael Cole, and he was only meant to be on for like the first match. He was that good at like entertaining people for this difficult time. They just shoved him on for the rest of the show, and some of that stuff he does with Michael Cole is
He ended up
comedy
pulling
gold,
the
man.
camera and being the cameraman and everything, didn't he? It was brilliant.
Yeah.
Ryan Taylor, who you got?
I've gone for Paige as my next one.
Okay, first woman.
Very
Well
nice,
done.
very nice.
First woman in the Hall of Fame.
I just think she was a big, like, she's not the only reason, but I think she was a big part of the women's revolution. And it's unfortunate that she had to retire so early in her career because she had loads more to give.
Yeah.
Obviously, she first burst onto the scene night after WrestleMania against AJ when she captured the Divas belt, and I thought that was amazing. Like, that pop was, she probably did everything. And obviously, she's had a film, Fight With My Family, as well, which obviously showed how she got to WWE and that actually like what she had to go through as well. Because obviously, it's difficult coming to a different country, especially when you're young, especially a young woman as well, with no family around you. But like I said, and she came back. She fought the retirement, came back, and then said had to retire again. Which it's a shame because I don't even think she's 30 yet, is she?
No.
She's still relatively.
So.
I'm hoping because you see the success stories of Edge and Brian, similar injuries, like they've come back.
Christian.
And Christian as well. So I'm hoping because she's still young, she's still got another 10 years. I'm hoping she can come back again, but because I enjoy watching her wrestle. I think she's really talented and she's one of the best when she can fight. So I think she's one of my favourite female wrestlers of all time, in my opinion.
Massive part of the women's revolution, like you said, first ever NXT Women's Champion, first person to hold the NXT Women's Championship and the Divas Championship at the same time. General manager of SmackDown at one point, which she did amazing at.
She did a great job, but I thoroughly enjoyed that as well.
Ryan?
Yeah, there's just whatever role she's been given, she's just nailed.
Yeah.
Really,
I think it also helps because she's English as well.
Mm.
We root for her more.
Yeah.
So it's the same with me with Sheamus and Drew as well. Like they're not English, but they're British.
Yeah.
And I want them to do well. It's part of our culture,
Yeah.
It's like it's not often where you'll have a talent on the roster, say it's just debuted so quick, and where you look at them and you're like, this is just an instant legend. Like straight off the bat, you don't get that a lot, but when we're Paige, you've always seen it. Whenever you see it, like this, this is someone that's going to be in that Hall of Fame one day, and you just get instant legend.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to go for the only two-time Grand Slam champion.
I'm
going to go for The Miz. First of all, he's the only two-time Grand Slam champion. Like, that's nothing to be, former main event of WrestleMania, even if it did get overshadowed by The Rock. Two-time WWE championship, multi-time United States, one of the best intercontinental champions ever. Cashed in Money in the Bank twice successfully and once unsuccessfully, but we ignore that. He dresses as a bunny. He dresses as a bunny, guys. Come on. That's Hall of Fame worthy. He's having a match against Bad Bunny. That is Hall of Fame worthy. Honestly, I could sit here for hours about The Miz. He is someone that has been with the company. Like, he says it all. Like, everything he says is true. He's there every night. He's just amazing.
Not every night, not when he's filming.
Obviously he's got his own reality show and all that now as well. I just think The Miz is amazing. I really do. And I
think his promo skills they're unmatched. There's not many better than him. Not at all. And he captures the audience. Whatever audience, whenever he's on that mic, on that stick, you listen. Because like you say, he doesn't talk rubbish. Everything he says, there's some truth to it, no matter what it is. And
it's weird because it's not with many people, but whenever The Miz speaks, I listen.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't just hear. I listen to what he has to say, and everything he says, he has a point. It's
Like to be honest, I've never been a massive fan of The Miz, but the last 4 or 5 years completely changed it around. Especially when the brand split on SmackDown.
That Intercontinental Championship reign when he was calling out Daniel Bryan on Talking Smack.
Yeah, that changed it for me. That changed the game for me. I was like, do you know what? I love this guy.
Yeah, he's really good.
It's like as well, he's had this when he first came in. He's had a miracle success story. When he first came in, he was at the very bottom. Like he was kicked out of the locker room for eating chicken. He had to get dressed in the corridors for like 6 months, and to like still keep going after like you've been shot on so many times is what he was shot on all the time. And now to look at him now, it's just a success story, like a self-made. Like, yeah, he's got all this money and he's got a beautiful wife, but he had to work for all that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
he
it
did.
brings
And he,
the level that, like, even though we take the mick out of this bad money stuff, but it shows how much trust the company actually has in him to rely on him to get a celebrity who's never been in a ring before, to not only face him on your biggest stage of them all, even though he's just had a world title reign, but to get this guy who's never wrestled before, to get him in a match and get him over, just screams the amount of like trust that well deserved that they have in him. You know what I mean?
and that's another thing. If you want to get someone over, put them in a program with the Miz, right?
Yeah,
B team, like the Miz Taraj. Obviously, he had Alex Riley back in the day, Maurice, and I feel like I'm missing another major one. Obviously, John Morrison. What did he do? Yeah, he did something. Oh my God, around the Miz Taraj area, he did something. I might just be thinking of Maurice, but whoever he's with, gold. He's just so good. Look what he did to the B team. Yeah, they were the B team afterwards, but he made them an important part of the show because they were with Miz. I just think he's amazing.
Well, it was also part of when the Shield reunited again. Not the second. Do you know when Roman, because he was feuding with Roman, weren't it?
Yes.
Yes. What rumors? And then D came out, and then that massive pop for Rollins when he came out with.
Yeah.
Well, I've got nothing else to add about Miz. So if neither of you have, let's move on to Ryan Sutcliffe's final pick.
All right, my last one. The reason that we're all here on this podcast talking about this sort of stuff. Ted Turner. No, I was joking. Vince McMahon himself.
The great college.
Taking over the business from his dad in 1982. He's just changed the whole game of professional wrestling. And even like in 2021, he's still finding ways to adapt. I know people on the internet always give me shit because he's big sweaty men and all that. But in terms of business and getting wrestling its own thing, even like look as far as the Thunderdome, you know, he's trying to adapt all the time to just make it just this bigger, mega show that it is today. And like we wouldn't be here without him. So like, he needs to be in this first class, doesn't he, really?
Former Royal Rumble winner, former WWE champion. Obviously,
ECW champion.
You know, he's the owner of WWE. Like, without him, there'd be no WWE. Like, you can't really argue with that.
No.
He was on TV as little as last year. You know, during the pandemic, he's come out. He's been on TV. Like, it's just there's not really much to say. It's Vince McMahon, of course. You know,
we just wanted to give up the reins a bit, but because he's gone so long and he just wants to be around it, it's still his business at the end of the day.
It's his life.
Like, he's gonna be there till he drops. Like, just you can't blame him for that.
I don't have anything else to add. Ryan Taylor.
So I thought my last one is going to be.
I can't even think who he picked.
I can't remember.
Daniel Bryan.
Hey.
Was it?
I think. Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair enough.
You're double checking now, aren't you?
Yeah, but go on.
Yeah, Daniel Bryan. I had a thing in mind, and I was like, isn't it?
Tell us about him. Who's Daniel Bryan?
I think obviously, like he's done it all, hasn't he? He's done it all. He's like multi-time WWE champion, world heavyweight champion, tag champion. I don't think he's held a mid-card title though.
Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been Intercontinental champion. He won it at Wrestlemania in the ladder match, and he was United States champion when he beat the Miz when he first debuted.
We'll never forget that feud with the Authority.
Yeah.
That was what made him that feud was everyone got his side. Like the Occupy Raw is just a massive
it's a great moment, that wasn't it?
Moment. Absolutely.
Daniel Bryan is just one of the best.
Yeah, and he's earned it like that. Like he's earned everything that's come his way, and let's not forget he's one hell of a wrestler.
But he's another one. Like, you give him anything, and he'll knock it out the park.
Yeah, and he can do both. He can do heel and he can do face. I didn't think he could really do a heel, but then if we were on the Planet's Champion thing,
that Planet's Champion thing was amazing.
Yeah, that was gold, and then he even made Kofi to be even more of a star than than before. Like he like everyone can say all compliment, but Brian helps that feud as well.
Yeah, definitely, completely agree.
The way he acted, and
Yeah, like,
again with all with the injuries, his neck injury, and he came, that was devastating when he won the 2 championships at Wrestlemania, and then had to relinquish them, and then he fought back so hard and fully deserves it. He's again, I just love him. I love him so much, and I don't want him to retire, but he's going to retire soon. I can feel it.
It's difficult. Go on.
I can say like his whole etiquette behind the scenes is always like putting us before him, because like I read a thing the other week where I think back to just before like Fastlane in 2019, he'd actually gone to Vince personally and said, "I want to drop the title to Kofi and I want it to be at WrestleMania." So like just stuff like that, and even like
because he knows what it's like to be in that position.
Oh yeah,
because he was in that position with Orton and Batista, weren't he? Similar.
Yeah. But yeah, and he's become a writer now. I believe he's off of SmackDown. Like he writes some of his stuff and some of the angles. I think so is Edge as well. But if he hadn't have like worked through his injury and came back, I don't think we would have seen Edge back. Because Edge only started looking into it when Daniel Bryan came back. Yeah,
completely agree. Yeah,
great guy all around.
Yeah, that's the thing. He is a great guy behind the scenes. Like that just makes it even better, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Speaking of great guys, my final pick. I'm gonna put one of the best tag teams ever. I'm going to put the New Day in. 11-time tag team champions. Kofi Mania. Obviously, Big E is still in it, but he's not at the same time. Intercontinental champion. Right. Hosts of WrestleMania. Bootios, Pancakes, Francesca. I could go on and on and on. They've got a podcast. Like, they're the New Day. They're flipping amazing.
Yeah, one of the greatest tag team factions of all time. They just are.
There's nothing to add. It's just the New Day. On that note, go on.
No, I was gonna say, like, there was times where they didn't start out great, but they turned that around. That's what you got to give credit for. At first, it seemed like, oh, this is going to be like a bad idea. This is not it. They changed it around, and now look at them now. They blossomed so highly. They couldn't even envision themselves what they're going to achieve. What they've achieved now. No way. But I always got scared that it was going to get stale, but they've always kept it rolling.
They've always done something.
And you've got to give them massive credit for that.
Definitely. So just to recap these 9 before we go into our headliner of the class 2021. Ryan Sutcliffe's, yours were
Ric Flair, Triple H, and Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
Ryan Taylor, yours were
Stone Cold, Paige, and Daniel Bryan.
And mine were Sheamus, The Miz, and The New Day. Now, we all discussed this beforehand. We've agreed that this is who we think should be the headliner of our class of 2021. We've gone for Mr. Brody Lee. Ryan Sutcliffe, do you want to say a few words?
Yeah.
On the spot.
I know. Just what we've said when we did the tribute podcast, really. Just that for a guy who, just like Daniel Bryan as well, putting others before him. Whenever someone was ill on the show, he'd drop him a text, make sure everything's all right. Always the sort of guy that you could go to. He'll also have a laugh with you as well. I just think for a guy, it's doesn't often get said where like the good guys get the notice and the due, but this is like our way of giving him that due in our sort of respect to that, because someone who can constantly go in and forget, like, leave his troubles at the door and just be there for people on the drop like that in any company from WWE to AEW, it just shows the commitment of him to be a good person. I think that needs to be 100% needs to be rewarded.
And after his unfortunate passing, everyone came out with stories and that, and no one had a bad word to say. He was just an amazing person behind the scenes, and like I didn't know that. I didn't know anything about him behind the scenes. All I knew was his like Bludgeon Brothers character, and I'm like, oh, you wouldn't want to see him on the street, would you? But you hear all these stories, and it's just like, what an amazing man. So that's why we've all agreed together to put him in the Hall of Fame as the headliner. So he will be the headline for class of 2021. We'll do this again every year. We'll choose 10 people, 3 each, and then a headliner. But yeah, this has been our first one, class of 2021. I'm interested to see where we'll be in a year's time.
It's yeah. I mean, we can't go down with, it's got to be up. You know what I mean? Like
in an office.
Start at the bottom, everything's up now. To be fair, I'll talk to you off camera about that.
Yeah, because at the moment, like by the time this video goes up, we'd have done 17 weekly podcasts. Now, that isn't a lot for some people, but you know, for us to be here, I would say all of us be here every week for 17 weeks. That's a lot. I think we've done really well, and all the content we've done, and this Mania week, we've got so much. We've got so many more Let's Talk Wrestling's coming. We've got Who Wants to Be a Millionaire coming. We've got loads of stuff coming. We've got loads, so just watch this space. But unless you two have got any final words? Nope.
Enjoy Mania week.
Go on, man.
Enjoy Mania week. I've been Chad, Ryan. Thank you very much, guys. See you later.